Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into the world of international trade and finance. It might sound complex, but don't worry, we are going to break it down in simple terms so that everyone can understand. So let's get started. So this is our unit number 3 and which is based on correspondent banking and NRI account, and there are 7 to 8 topics that we have to cover in this particular lesson. So we will cover topic one by one, and this entire unit will be covered in 3 to 4 parts, and each parts will be of 30 to 40 minutes. So try to understand each and every concept. This is a very conceptual topic, an easy one. So if your concept is clear and you can easily solve any of the problem, we will try to clear our concept. So let's begin with. So the first thing, imagine you are running a business. So you imagine you are running a business. So imagine you are running a business and want to buy or sell product across different countries. To make that happen smoothly, you need a reliable way to handle the money, payments and document involved. This is where international banks comes into play. Right. So you are running a business, you want to buy and sell product across different countries. To make that happen, you need a reliable way to handle the money, payment and document involved. This is where international banks come into play. So they form a network. So international bank form a network, and this network connecting bank from different countries. So this is basically a form of network, and this network consists of banks from different countries to help business like yours handle everything from trade document to payment. Now when bank in different country work together, they form what is called relationship between foreign bank, right? So when bank in different country work together, they form what is called relationship between foreign bank. Sorry friends, these relationship are super important because they make it easier to deal with everything across border, right? So whether it is processing payment or handling the paperwork, these partnership are the backbone of international trade. Now speaking of the partnership, there is a special type of bank called as correspondent bank. Think of them as a middleman who makes sure everything flows smoothly between banks in different countries. In our globalized world, correspondent banks are absolute essential for making international trade and finance work efficiently. Now let's talk about something closer to home, that is NRI. Let's talk about something closer to home, that is NRI or non-resident Indian. Many Indian living abroad send money back to their families in India. This money is called remittance. Okay? And it plays a big role in supporting their loved one and even saving for the future. But did you know it also contributes significantly to the Indian foreign exchange or forex resource? That's money India can use to trade with other country. That is the money India can use to trade with other country. Next thing is NRI. NRI also play a crucial role in India economy by investing their money in India. They have different option for opening bank account and making investment. Whether they want to be able to send the money back abroad, that is called repatriable. When I say repatriable, it means whether the NRI want to send the money back abroad or they want to keep in India, that is called non-repatriable. These funds are vital for the country, and bank offer a variety of facility to make it easier for NRI to manage their money. And the last topic is to make all this possible, bank offer a wide range of services specifically for NRI customers, all under the guidelines set by the Reserve Bank of India. Whether it is opening an account, investing or handling a remittance, these services are designed to meet the unique need of NRI while ensuring everything is done safely and securely. Right. So this is about a quick overview of how international trade and finance work, the role of bank and the importance of NRI fund. It is amazing to see how interconnected the world is and how crucial these financial networks are for keeping the global economy running smoothly. Now let's come to the next slide. Hopefully you have understood each and every point from this particular slide. Now let's come to this slide. So we are going to see in this slide is something that plays a huge role in international banking but often goes unnoticed, that is the correspondent bank. Don't worry if you have not heard of it before. We are going to break it down in simple terms so that it is easy to understand. Let's get started. First thing first, what exactly is correspondent bank? Simply put, it is a bank that provides services to another bank around the world. So, this is a type of bank that provides services to another bank. So, it is a bank that provides services to another bank around the world. Imagine you have a bank in your country. So, suppose this is a bank in your country, right? And it needs to send money or process transaction in another country. So this is your country and it want to send or process money to another country. So instead of opening a branch there, your bank partnered with the correspondent bank in that country to get the job done. So this bank is not opening a branch in the foreign country, rather it is making partnership with the bank in the foreign country. So that is called correspondent banking. So what do these correspondent bank actually do? So we have understood what is a correspondent bank. Now let's see their roles. Well, they act like a facilitator or intermediary. This means that they help with routing wire transfer, conducting transactions, gathering important documents, and sometimes even acting as a representative for your bank in another country. They are behind the scene agent, making sure everything runs smoothly across border. Now, you might be wondering, why not just open a branch in every country? Well, that is where the benefit of correspondent banking comes in. By using correspondent bank, a financial institution can access foreign market and serve international client without the need to open branch abroad. This saves time, money and resources while still providing top-notch services. You can see this is the utmost benefit. Corresponding banking relationship can be pretty flexible sometimes. Sometimes two bank might have mutual account with each other. So suppose this is bank 1 and suppose this is bank 2. So they may have a mutual account with each other. Other time one bank might just have an account with the correspondent bank. So suppose this is the correspondent bank. So other time one bank may have just account with a correspondent bank. In some case, a correspondent bank act like an agent for another bank, handling their banking need without having any account relationship at all. It's all about finding the best way to serve customer globally. In some case, correspondent bank might act like an agent for other bank, handling their banking needs, right? So this is how it works. Now, correspondent bank are very crucial because they support international business need by using local bank as agent. This means that even if your bank does not have a branch in another country, it can still offer its customer international services. Correspondent banking eliminates the need for a global branch network, making it easier and more efficient for bank to operate internationally. So it might seems like a complex topic, but at its core it is all about making international banking easier and efficient. Correspondent banking plays a key role in connecting banks across border, ensuring that all businesses and individuals can access the global financial system smoothly. Right. Now, let's come to the next slide. Hopefully, each and every point in this slide is clear to you. Now, let's see the next slide. That is, today we are so we will see our discussion on correspondent banking, focusing on what it needs, why it is important, and how fee work in this system. So if you are curious about how bank manage to operate globally without having branches everywhere, this video is for you. Let's jump right in. Running a global bank so suppose question is why correspondent banking is needed, why it is needed. So let's see the need of the correspondent bank. Running a global bank might sound like a great idea, but it comes with a big challenges. First off, opening and operating branches in different countries is really expensive, high cost. Plus, each country has its own rules and licensing requirement, which can make it even harder. So, licensing requirement differs from country to country. This is where correspondent banking comes in. Instead of opening branches everywhere, bank partner with the local branch to handle their international business. This way, they can still operate globally, but without the high cost. So, this is one of the utmost benefit. The second thing is importance of correspondent banking. Correspondent banking is not just a clever workaround. It is actually really important for international trade and finance. By partnering with the local bank, a bank can serve its client in another country without needing to be physically present there. right? So without needing to be physically present there. So this is especially useful for facilitating international trade and helping expatriate manage their finance from abroad. Especially it gives banks the ability to operate globally in a cost effective way. Next thing is, let's talk about the banks involved. Let's talk about the bank involved. So the first thing is the bank in your home country which need help from a correspondent bank abroad is called respondent bank. So this is a bank in your home country. So bank in your home country which needs help from a correspondent bank abroad is called respondent bank. The correspondent bank acts like an agent for the respondent bank. So this is a home country bank, and that particular correspondent bank in the foreign country acts like an agent for the respondent bank, helping it provide services in a country where it does not have a branch. This relationship is a key to making international banking work smoothly. Now let's talk about the practical benefits. See, one of the biggest practical benefit of correspondent banking is that it provides essential services in place where the respondent bank does not have a physical presence. So in some countries respondent bank does not have a physical presence. In those countries it provides okay, so in those countries where respondent bank does not have its physical presence, so this in such country correspondent bank make it possible to offer global services without being everywhere at once. This is not only convenient but also crucial for maintaining business relationship and serving customer worldwide. Now let's talk about the cost. See, since bank does not need to open expensive branch in multiple countries, they save a lot of money. This cost effectiveness allow them to offer global business opportunity and retain clients without breaking the bank. It's a win-win situation. Customer gets the service they need and the bank can expand their reach at the lower cost. So but of course these services are not free. Local bank acting like a correspondent bank charges fee for the services they provide as an agent, right? It's not free. Local bank, since they act like a correspondent bank, they charge fee for the services they provide as an agent. These fee cover the cost of processing transaction, handling document and other tasks they perform on the behalf of the respondent bank, right? So while there is a cost involved, it is still much cheaper than maintaining a global branch network. So it is a simple breakdown of why correspondent bank is needed, why it is important, how fee work in this system, right? So correspondent banking allow bank to offer international services without the need for massive expensive branch bank. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like the video. And friends, those who are looking for English presentation, English explanation of all the entire subjects of CIB, we have started the English course for your information. And if you are interested to enroll in our English language program, then this is the WhatsApp number which you can WhatsApp on. I will provide you detail how to access this English course. The complete course will be in English, demonstration will be English in the simplest language possible, so that the concept become clear and you can easily answer the question in the examination. So this is what we are doing. We are building our basics. First of all, we need to understand what is correspondent bank, why it is needed. Then after we will see the nitty and gritty of each and every parts of the portion. Now let's talk about the services. See, we will explore some important aspect of correspondent banking, focusing on the services provided, the role of bank as an agent, the impact of global regulation. So let's dive in. So let's start with the basics. What services do correspondent bank actually provide? What services do correspondent bank actually provide? So this bank plays a crucial role in handling transaction for other bank that don't have a branch in a specific country. So this correspondent bank we are talking about, they play a crucial role in handling transaction for other bank that do not have a branch in a specific country. They conduct transaction, they accept deposit, they collect documents for the host country branch. In simple terms, they act like a bridge, helping bank offer services in country where they don't have a different direct presence. Correspondent bank don't just provide services, they also act like an agent for the home country bank. I've been telling this for almost 2 to 3 times that this acts like an agent for the home country bank. This means they represent your bank in another country, making sure all transactions and services are handled properly. It's like having a trusted partner abroad who takes care of everything for you, ensuring their international bank is ensuring international banking is smooth and reliable. Now let's talk about the impact of de-risking. Let's try to understand. See, let's talk about something that has been affecting correspondent bank in certain region, and that point is de-risking. What is de-risking? De-risking, when de-risking happens, de-risking happen when bank decide to stop offering services in region they consider too risky. So some region bank consider too risky, so they decide to stop offering services. This can have a big impact as it limit access to financial services and can even disrupt cross-border fund movement. The international community is concerned about this because it can lead to financial exclusion in some part of the world. So what happens when some bank decide to stop offering services in region they consider too risky? Okay, so this financial inclusion won't happen, financial exclusion will happen. So despite the challenges, correspondent bank remain essential for supporting cross border fund movement and ensuring that people around the world have access to financial services. So it plays so it helps people and business connect. So it plays a key role in global financial inclusion, helping people and business connect to the global economy even if they are in region with limited banking service. Now let's talk about the FATF recommendation and compliance. See, now let's shift gear to something very important in the world of international banking: compliance with global regulation, especially the FATF recommendation. When I talk about FATF, I mean Financial Action Task Force. It set guidelines to help fight money laundering and terrorism financing. One of the key recommendation, that is recommendation number 13. What does it say? It required bank to take extra measure when dealing with cross-border relationship. So when dealing with a cross-border relationship, it required bank to take extra measure. This goes beyond the usual CDD and EDD. CDD means customer due diligence, and EDD means enhanced due diligence. So one important thing is cross-border banking relationship are considered higher risker as compared to domestic one, right? They consider higher risk. That is why simplified CDD measure, which might be okay for local transaction, are not enough for international activities. Bank need to be extra careful, making sure they know exactly who they are dealing with. Next point is finally when it comes to reporting and safeguard. Banks are required to report any transaction that exceed a certain threshold. They also need to make sure that all information is shared securely, protecting both the bank and the customer. So this is about the CDD measures. So in this slide we have talked about the correspondent banking services, the role of agent, and the importance of relationship with the correspondent bank. Now in this slide we will see a specific function of correspondent bank, especially focusing on account and investment services. So we will see the two important things. The first thing is account services, second thing is investment services. If you have ever wondered how international bank operation like payment, collection, investment work behind the scene, this slide is for you. Let's start with one of the most important role of correspondent bank, their clearing house function. See, imagine you are a bank trying to send or receive payment internationally, right? The correspondent bank steps in to handle this outward and inward payment for you. They take care of everything from the collection and LC, letter of credit, claim reimbursement, to check collection. They also provide account statement and detailed transaction report. And here is something cool. They offer intraday credit line. You can see written, they offer intraday credit line on the spot, even if the money is not in an account yet. The second type of account services we have is collection. So let's talk about the collection. Correspondent bank acts like an agent for handling export and import document, bill of exchange, checks. They make sure that any money coming in is credited to the right account, and they follow up to make sure payment are made on time. They even offer services like cash letter, lock boxes, which speed up the collection process, ensuring that money move faster and more efficiently. The third thing they do is payments. So see, try to understand. Question is asked, right? Try to understand. Question is asked in this format: which of the following is included under the account services function of correspondent banking? The first thing is clearing house function. Second is collection function. Remember it. This way remember it. Question will be asked: which of the following is included in the account services function of correspondent bank? The third is payment bank. Payment. See, when I say payment are another crucial function of correspondent bank. They execute payment instruction by debiting the account, whether it is for interbank payment, settling foreign exchange deals, or making customer payment or import. This ensures that money get where it needs to go, whether it is across the street or across the world. It is like having a trusted middleman who handle all the nitty-gritty detail of the international payment. So payment is also handled. Okay, and sometimes account services, overdraft and loan facility they also provide. Sometimes banks need a little extra help with cash flow, and that is where overdraft and loan facility comes in. Correspondent bank can grant overdraft for temporary need or even provide short-term loan, all based on a credit assessment. Of course, this is not something that happen automatically. It requires an agreement between the client bank and the correspondent bank. If I talk about the client bank, I also means the correspondent bank. Right, it is all about making sure that the banks have the financial flexibility they need to keep things running smoothly. Finally, let's talk about the investment services. See, this investment services, bank don't just handle payment and collection, they also handle help making investment. For example, they also manage the investment of overnight surplus. So friends, we have just talked about the investment services. Okay, so correspondent bank don't just handle payment and collection, they also help manage investment. For example, they can manage the investment of overnight surplus balances, that money that is not being used right away. They can offer a short-term deposit and cash management service. This help bank make the most of their money. So this is whether it is clearing payment, managing collection, handling overdraft, or investing surplus fund. Correspondent bank are essential for making international banking work smoothly and efficiently. Now, in the next topic we were talking about, if you are interested in understanding how international banking operation go beyond just payment and collection, this slide is for you. So first of all, let's talk about the LC. You can see other services. So see which type of question is asked. Let me explain. Question will be asked, which of the following services of the which of the following function is included in the account services of the correspondent banking. Four option will be given, like clearing house function, collection, overdraft, and one option will be given like LC confirmation. You have to decide which one is not included in the account services function. So answer will be LC confirmation. So I will request you to please remember these key points. Clearing function is a part of account service, collection function is a part of account service, okay, and payment is a part of account service, overdraft and loan facility is a part of account. These four things you need to keep in mind, and rest everything is other services. This classification between account services and other services, this question is a fixed question which is asked, right? I am telling you from my experience of last 5 years examination, this question is frequently asked question, so please remember it. So now first let's talk about the letter of credit. When you are dealing with international trade, letter of credit are crucial because they guarantee that the seller will get paid as long as they meet the terms of agreement. Correspondent bank help by advising on this letter of credit. This means that they provide important information about the letter of credit to the parties involved, making sure everyone understands the terms. But that is not all. They also confirm letter of credit. The first thing is letter of credit advising. They advise. Second thing is they confirm also. This is especially important for importers. This confirmation is especially important for importers as it adds an extra layer of security. When a correspondent bank confirm an LC, they are basically saying we guarantee that this payment will be made, which gives both the buyer and the seller more confidence in the transaction. Right? This is called confirmation. And what about advising? We have talked that that the seller will get paid as long as they meet the terms of the agreement. That's called advising. But that is not all. They also confirm, right? Now let's talk about the credit. So correspondent bank can arrange both buyer and supplier credit. This means that they can help set up financing option that make it easier for business to buy and sell good internationally. Whether it is extending credit to a buyer or arranging payment terms for the supplier, correspondent bank plays a key role in keeping trade flow smoothly. Another service they offer is a banker acceptance. This is when a bank agrees to accept a draft, which is basically a promise to pay a certain amount at a future date. By acting as an acceptor of this draft, correspondent bank help businesses to secure the financing they need to operate effectively. So these are the other services. And then next is issuance of guarantee. So correspondent bank also issue various type of guarantee like bid bond, like performance guarantee. These guarantee are important in international trade because they ensure that a company will fulfill its obligation, whether it is completing a project or delivering goods on time. By providing this guarantee, correspondent bank help reduce the risk for all parties involved. When it comes to dealing with different currencies, correspondent bank have you covered with their foreign exchange services. So they can handle everything from simple currency exchanger to more complex financial product like derivative. And the next is custodial service. Now let's talk about the custodial service. If you are dealing with securities like stock or bond, you need a safe place to keep them. Correspondent bank offer custodial services, meaning they can take care of safekeeping of this asset. This is especially important for international investors who need reliable partner to manage their securities. Finally, correspondent bank provide valuable trade referral and credit report. These services are all about providing information. If you are looking to do business with a foreign party, a correspondent bank can give you insight into their credit worthiness and reputation. This helps businesses making informed decision and reduce the risk of entering into deal with an unknown or unreliable partner. So this is about the overview of other services provided by the correspondent bank, from advising LC to offering foreign exchange services and issuing guarantee. These banks are essential for making international trade and finance work smoothly. Now, furthermore, these are investment service, fundraising, training and seminar, all are included. So friend, this is the part 1 lecture of our BFM unit number 3. If you are interested to get such explanation for the rest part, please enroll in our program. Right, you can enroll in our you can get more detail how to enroll by WhatsApping me on this particular number. We have already started our mentorship program. You can take help of that particular program, and you can boost your performance. If you really feel the lecture provided you great insight into the correspondent banking topic, please hit the like button. This will motivate me to make more such and such important content. Thank you.